I've generated over $40 million in e-commerce sales and have helped scale over 50 e-commerce brands just by sending emails. And today I'm going to share the top 5 lessons that I have learned in the process. So I'm wasting no time, let's just get straight into lesson number 1. So ever since I really got started in like email marketing, I've always had like the right idea of like, hey, you need to give your customer value, you need to give them tips, and you need to build that relationship. So I would just put a lot of time putting together super in-depth emails with amazing information, super cool ideas, a whole bunch of crazy stuff. The results were pretty solid, and I kind of thought I was wizard. Then one of the 8-figure brands I was working in-house for brought another copywriter in to help handle some of the load, and I did not like their emails at all. They were minimal, they were short, and then the information was super like base level and wasn't really in-depth at all. And I was like, come on, I'm putting all these time into these emails, these are super helpful, super big, but his emails got consistently better results, higher revenue and higher clicks, but it just didn't make any sense. My emails were better information, more in depth. They were overcoming all of my customers' objections. They had all this good stuff, but the problem was that nobody was actually reading it. See, the customer isn't sitting down, setting time aside every single day to go to their desk and like annotate their email inbox. They're checking their email in like short bursts, like they're waiting for the line at McDonald's, or like they're picking their kid up from school and they have a couple minutes in the traffic line. And then on top of that, thanks to TikTok and all these other social media platforms, people just have the shortest attention span. When people are opening their emails in like these quick, short bursts, they're opening the email, scrolling a little bit, maybe like 2 or 3 seconds, and then they're leaving and going to the next one. And so in my case, with my emails, the customers were opening the email, skimming, seeing a ton of words, and they're being like, I don't have time to read that right now, and then leaving. Whereas with my coworker, in those like short, like super simple, super base level emails, the people would skim the email in like 2 to 3 seconds and take one specific thing of value away, rather than me trying to give them a ton of information, like 10 different things for them to remember. Can't give the modern customer too much credit. You just really want to simplify things down and try to get one single point across in your email and do that in as short a space as possible. So that's when I made the switch from like these long, super in-depth emails to really keeping things simple and just focusing on one thing, and then my results started to really take a turn. Short, quick, and concise. And while you're writing your emails, you just want to say, what is the one single thing I want my customer to know? And then hand the click to them on a silver platter, make it so easy for them. And that is how you actually create emails that convert. Now, lesson number 2. Now, I didn't fully internalize this lesson until I actually got inside like the woodworks of a few different 8-figure brands. You know, starting out, I didn't have an agency, I didn't have a team. I was just a freelancer working like in-house at these different e-com brands. And so for me coming in, I knew all this stuff about ads and how they're so important, and they're kind of like what runs the show for e-com. And then email marketing, I was kind of thinking they were just like for transactional emails, like to let you know that your order's been delivered. And then like any other stuff was just like a nice to have. What I quickly began to realize at the high level, like 8-figure brand mark, everything runs through email. The first part of every single month was developing the email marketing calendar. Then everything else, like the social media posts, the blogs, and then even the ad creatives were built after the email calendar. And that was like for all brands. And then one brand specifically, they're spending over 6 figures every single month on ads, and they weren't asking for purchases on their ads at all. They were running ads just to a sign-up page to get people to join their email list. It's because these brands at a high level understand that it's much more cost-effective to try to send one ad to somebody and get their email address and then send them follow-up emails, which are way cheaper than ads, to get them to purchase. Rather than sending somebody an ad 8 times, we can send them an ad once and then send them 7 emails. And then you get that purchase for a lot cheaper than you would if you were just running ads. And then for another client, we were testing new pop-up forms with 2 to 3 variations every single week to try to optimize how many people were entering the email list after visiting the website. And then we were sending multiple emails every single week, and we had over 60 emails just in our flow automations. And we were always optimizing this. And the result was over 50% of total store revenue coming from the email and SMS channels. Now again, what these brands at a high level realize is that you need to send the customer content to get them to purchase. And email is the cheapest way to do that. This reduces your cost per acquisition, so you don't have to keep spending money on ads. In a cheap way, all while building brand loyalty. To the point where I've heard this, where it would feel like cheating if a customer left your brand to go to somebody else in the niche. So the lesson is that email is the backbone of any successful brand, especially with competition increasing and ad prices reaching higher than ever levels. If you dial in your email system, then the rest of your funnel will just increase in effectiveness. Lesson number 3, and I kind of fell victim to this one, but you know, it's really sad how not many e-com brands really double down on email marketing. They put it off and never truly take it seriously because they have the impression that it is so complicated. hear all the buzz with segmentation, this advanced deliverability stuff, these crazy automations, design and copy, yada, yada, yada. But the truth is, none of that shit really matters all that much. If you've ever heard of the 80-20 rule, this most definitely applies to email marketing. One of the brands I mentioned earlier, we were generating $750,000 a month from email and SMS, which was resulting in 55% of the total brand revenue. But all we did was focus on the basics. Do we have these crazy systems for segmenting and sending custom campaigns to people based on their blood type and like their favorite ice cream flavor? No, we focused on the basics and we did them well. So what are the basics? The first is a high converting pop-up form that is going to convert as many website viewers as possible into email list subscribers. And two is you want to have all of the core email flows built out so that you can automate a lot of your revenue, send high converting emails at the right time in the right place, and then also personalize the customer experience a bit. And then to get consistent revenue and keep eyes on your brand, you need to be sending 3 to 4 email campaigns per week. And this goes out to like your general email engaged list. Now I'll add deliverability into the mix there, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So going back to pop-up forms, you want to be testing this as much as you possibly can to get to a point where you can ideally be at least 8 to 12% of your website traffic joining your email list. This way you can educate them and nurture them into a purchase and then also retain them after that first purchase so that they don't go try out a competitor. The more people joining your email list, the more revenue you make. Two, you want to set up your base flows and take time thinking through the whole customer journey and what you want these people to receive. These are the core flows that I always start with. Welcome flow, which we want to have 6 or more emails. Two, we have the website abandon flow, which is if anybody goes to the website and they don't view any products or add an item to cart, they just go to the website and then they leave. We just want like 1 or 2 emails there to try to get them back. Three, we have the browse abandon flow, which is 4+ emails. This is if somebody like actually views an item page, but then they don't add it to cart or anything like that. We want to overcome objections and try to get them to purchase. And then 4 and 5, we have the cart abandon and the checkout abandon flows, which are actually different. So make sure you have 2 separate flows for this. But we want to have at least 6 emails here delivered over a 2-week period because we really need to remind people. And also some people just need like 2 weeks to make a decision, especially if your product is a higher average order value. And then 6, we have the post-purchase flow, just delivering some brief thank yous and then some cross sells and upsells. And then a win back flow for people who haven't purchased in a while of about like 3 or so emails to try to get them to come back. And then moving to campaigns, we want to be sending 3 to 4 email campaigns per week minimum. Now we really don't want to be selling to our customers at every single email that we send. It's going to ruin your brand image and get people to be kind of annoyed with you and have higher unsubscribe rates. Instead, you want to focus on building a relationship with them and start sending like tips, tricks, any sort of education, and people will just naturally start converting to your emails as they get used to your brand and develop a good relationship. These also help prime you for like big sales so that once you get to like a big sale like Black Friday or Cyber Monday, you have a whole bunch of pent-up trust and goodwill so that people are already ready to purchase right then and there. You don't have to work at overcoming objections later on. Those 3 things are literally all that you need to get a Klaviyo account to 40% of your total brand revenue or more. This is what we've actively done for over 50 e-commerce brands. And lesson number 4, I kind of glossed over this, but there is literally nothing more important than your pop-up form. Most brands I audit just have a templated set it and forget it form that usually converts somewhere of around like 3%. And that means 3% of website viewers will actually opt in to your email list. Our base submit rate that we want to shoot for is 6 to 8%. And so just by making a couple tweaks on your 3% form to get that to 6%, you will literally double your list growth and in turn your email revenue in the long run. You could go from 500 email subscribers a month with a 3% form to 1,000 subscribers a month with a 6% form. It's that easy, and just little tweaks in your pop-up form can have that big of a difference. Just take a look at this example. All we did was take this client's form submission rate from 2.5% to 8.75%. Their monthly signups went from 750 to 2,625. And then with more people entering the welcome flow revenue went from $7,000 a month to $25,000 a month. That's pretty insane, especially considering we did not change one other thing besides their pop-up form. We didn't touch any of their emails. We didn't change anything with the site. The offer didn't change. It's literally just some tweaks on the pop-up form. Get more people on your email list, you get more sales. Now, I think this example gives you a pretty good idea at how important pop-up forms are. I won't really use that much more time talking about them. I could go on and on. Just check out another video that I have on my channel breaking down pop-up forms. And lesson number 5, this is on something that I was absolutely terrified about when coming in. That is deliverability. How often am I landing in spam? Why are my open rates so low? Where should my open rates be? Is my sending domain fried? Am I missing a record on my DNS settings? The list goes on and on of these questions, but what I've come to find out is that deliverability is so easy. Let's just think in the eyes of like an inbox provider like Google. They're determining if they should send your emails to spam or the main inbox. Okay, so if you're sending emails to your list and you're getting roughly 20% open rates, what that tells Google is that 8 out of 10 people who are receiving your emails do not want to receive them. I mean, if you're Google and you want to give a good customer experience, you probably don't want to send people emails that barely anybody wants to receive. So for the brands that get like 20% open rates, you're just going to start landing in spam as Google gets used to you and sees these numbers. So what I've learned is that if you control your open rates, click rates, and your other engagement rates, then Google can choose to place you in the inbox more often. How do you do this? How do you control your engagement rates? Well, it's actually quite simple. You only send to people who are engaging with your emails. A lot of the brands I audit are sending emails to their whole entire list. And the problem with that is that the majority of these profiles just aren't going to open any of your emails. Emails that are signed up on your list could be a fake email, could have strict requirements and you're just landing in spam, or the customer got a new email and they don't use that one anymore, or they just don't care about your brand anymore. So by continuing to send to them, to the people who aren't going to open your emails at all, you're just ruining your reputation and you're at risk of landing in spam for somebody who might otherwise have wanted to receive your email. Literally all you have to do here is only send to your engaged lists, which I recommend to start with like a 60 to 90 day engaged list. So you're only sending to people who have opened or clicked an email in the past 60 to 90 days. And then for big events like Black Friday or like a big sale or whatever, you can open up and send to your whole list every once in a while. Now, the other key aspect of deliverability that nobody really talks about is actually sending good content. Give tips, value, education, and entertainment, and mix that with good copy and pretty looking design, then people will be rewarded after opening your email with like some dopamine, and then they'll continue coming back. If you're just sending like sale, 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 buy our stuff, buy our stuff, buy our stuff, then people aren't really gonna wanna see your emails. And so they're gonna stop opening. Same goes for if you use like the same templated design or like the same sort of copy every single time. So just by improving the content of your emails and how quality they are, you're going to help with your deliverability. Send good emails and send them to people who actually want to receive them, and then you'll be in a good spot for your deliverability. It's that simple. Now I have a ton more lessons that are a bit more in depth. I just wanted to give the first 5 that came to mind. If you want to hear some of the others, just let me know in the comments and I can create another video. I want to give a big thank you for making it to the end of this video, and I hope you got some value from it. If you want more free value, then subscribe to my newsletter, inboxnewsletter.com/subscribe. You'll get a 75-page guide for free when you sign up. Appreciate you again watching till the end, and be on the lookout for more videos. I will see you in the next one.